we are now within sight of the finish line. We're on to the last step. So this is the solution for step 4. And in step 4, we want to be able to improve our program so that the words where the user clicks the check mark to means they already know that word, they know what it means, and they don't want to see it again in this list. So what we want to be able to do is to remove the words that the user knows from this dictionary of words to learn. And to do that, we have to change this command. When the user clicks on the unknown button, we're going to simply just give them the next card, which is a random word from the list of words. But when the user clicks on the known button, instead of clicking on next card, we're going to call a different function, which I'm going to call isKnown. Now, isKnown is going to be a function that's going to remove the current card from the cards that are in the list of words to learn. So what we're going to do is we're going to get hold of our list to learn, and then we're going to call the remove method, and then we're going to remove a particular element from it, and that happens to be the current card. So remember, the current card is a dictionary which we got by randomly choosing from our list to learn. So now when the user says isKnown, then the current card is going to be removed from the list of words to learn. And then after we've done that, then we're going to call next card from this particular method. At the moment, if we run this code and I just keep clicking the check mark, eventually we're going to have a very small list of words that we're going to pick from. In fact, if I go ahead and print the length of my list to learn, you can see that the first time I run this code and I click on the isKnown button, we have 100 words. But if I keep clicking on this, then you'll see that every single time I'm just reducing that list because I'm saying I already know what this word compris means. And that word is now taken out of my list of words to learn. So now that list is smaller by 1 entry. Now, this works right now, but if I rerun the app, then you can see it goes back right to the beginning and it has 100 words again. So in order to keep hold of the words that I still need to learn, I have to save this list to a new permanent file each time the user clicks on this isKnown button. So the way that I'm going to do that is by using Pandas again. I'm going to use Pandas to create a new data frame. And that data frame is going to be created from our list to learn. Now I'm going to save this as our data, and then I can say data.toCSV in order to save it as a CSV file. So I'll call this words to learn.csv. So now if I press my check mark and I take a look within my files, you can see that words to learn CSV is created. And at the moment, it's got 89 entries, but if I keep clicking this a few times, it's going to reduce each time. So this is now a permanent storage of all the words that I have yet to learn. But I don't really want it randomly in the middle of my project. I want it to be saved alongside my French word CSV. So I have to change this to a file path, which is going to be data/words to learn. So let's go ahead and delete this file and do refactor. And then we're going to run this again. And next time you'll see that it appears in the right place. Now, in addition to saving it to CSV, we also have to read from that CSV, because instead of using the words from our original list, which is our FrenchWords.csv, I actually want to be able to read from my words to learn CSV instead, because that way, every single time I rerun the app, it's always going to give me all the words that I've yet to learn. So currently we're on 87. If I run this again, you can see that the first time I click on this, it's going to go to 86 instead of going back to 100. But there is a problem here though, because if I delete this file, words to learn, and I go ahead and run this, the first time this runs, it's going to crash. And we have that familiar file not found error. So we know how to deal with that. We need to catch this exception. The exception occurs right here. It happens when we try to get hold of this piece of data, which may or may not exist. So if it does not exist, so we're going to catch this except file not found error, well, in that case, we're going to be using the original data, which comes from the French word CSV. So we'll say pandas.readCSV, and then we're going to read this file, data/frenchwords.csv. So this is always going to be there because it's preloaded with our project. But if we do manage to find our words to learn, then that means this program has been run before and we've removed some of the words we already know. So we can catch that with an else statement. And we can say, well, in this case, we're going to set a global variable called toLearn, which starts out as an empty dictionary. And we set it to the data that comes from this CSV. However, if that file was not found, then this toLearn is going to be set to the original data .todict, and we're going to orient according to records as well. So now when we run our code, you can see we have no errors, and the first time that it runs, it's going to pick from our French word CSV. Now, once I've started saying, I've learnt this, I've learnt this, I've learnt this, then it's going to generate a words to learn CSV. And the next time I run this code, it's going to start using that words to learn CSV and start where I left off. Now, there is one slight weird bug to this. When you take a look at the words to learn CSV, it adds the record number to the first column every single time I run the code. So if I run this code again, you can see now I have 3 columns of all of the records. So basically, when we read from this particular CSV, we generate a data frame. And when I read from that data frame, so let's delete this and run our code again. You can see that Pandas has automatically added in these record numbers. So that gets then added back into our words to learn CSV when it saves it into the file. If we want to get rid of these record numbers, all we have to do is when we save it to the CSV, we can set a property called index to false. This way, it just doesn't add the index numbers to our newly created list. And now if I rerun this code, you can see that our words to learn CSV doesn't actually include an index. It only includes the actual records or the actual words and their English translations. That's basically it. That's all the solutions to our capstone project. And you've now built a fully fleshed flashcard that you can use to learn languages. So you could have the front with whatever language you want and the back with the English translations. Or you can use it to learn programming facts. You could have the front with a programming word and the back as the meaning of the programming word. You could use it to study history or geography. And this program is going to help you manage all the things that you don't remember and keep showing it to you until you do. Have fun modifying this flashcard app, and I hope it'll be helpful in your studies as well. If you've built something particularly interesting, again, be sure to share with us in the Q&A so that we can all admire and congratulate you on your hard work.